Hello, everybody. Is there anyone there? Rochelle Wise. Nice to see you. What a pleasant surprise. You're the first one today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's a surprise visit to you today. It's a surprise program. But there are serious reasons for the surprise, so it's a good one. Okay, Mbabazi Busy. Hello, how are you? Emenike Nobis, hello. Bukola Ogundipe, hello. Idera Nwafo, blessings. Blessing, blessing, blessing to all of you. Did any one of you get notification? Please tell me, those of you who are here right now, did you receive any notification or not? Or it just came on without notification? Let me know if you got any notification or not. Emenike, did you get any notification? Rochelle White, no notification. Then what I'm going to do, did anybody get notification? No? No notification. Then what I'm going to do, did anyone get notification? No, sir, no notification. Then what I will do is, I'm going to stop this for a while. I'm going to come back in, I think. I think that's what I'm going to do so that other people could get notification. Okay, Modupe said she got notification, so I might not need to stop it. She got notification, okay. Idera said she got as well. Okay, no problem. Then we'll just continue and wait for some more people to come. Today is going to be a special day for two reasons. The first reason is a special day is because today is International Women's Day. International Women's Day. Then the second reason why it's a special day is because on the Women's Day, International Women's Day, we gave birth to, God gave us a gift. And we had our first daughter. So our first daughter was born today on the 8th of March. Time is going so fast, 17 years ago. Totally unbelievable. So it's Zoya's birthday today. And she's going to come to us with some lessons, some life lessons, 17 lessons, since she's 17 years old. She's going to come to us with 17 lessons of her life that she has learned so far. And of course, we're going to have Pearl also telling us 10 lessons that she has also learned living with her sister. So welcome, everyone. Waiting for more ladies to come in and for more people to come in so that we could I could officially congratulate the ladies as well. Okay. I think we should just start and then I will congratulate the ladies a bit later. All right. So let's start with Pearl. Let's hear Pearl congratulate her sister and our senior sister and tell us some of the lessons that she has learned living with a senior sister. How are you, Pearl?
I'm very good, thank you.
Okay. Want to hear some of the lessons you've learned living with Zoe and your congratulatory message to her, if you don't mind.
All right.
You want to move closer or it's okay for you like that?
Yes, it's okay for me.
All right.
So one of the most important lessons that I've learned from Zoe is something that Daddy speaks about often, and that's the law of difference. And Zoe and I are very different types of people. Zoe has different interests and different approaches to things.
You
Zoe,
need to speak louder and stronger, or yeah, not sit closer. Just speak louder.
okay. Zoe and I are very different types of people. We have different interests and different approaches to things.
Yeah.
Zoe is more introverted and I'm a bit more extroverted, but still, I've been enriched by Zoe. So it's important to know that people are different from you in this world. Nobody will be the exact same as you, but it's also not bad that people are different from you. It's actually so much better to have so many different people in you, because you'll just be able to see all the awesomeness of difference and all the different aspects of God in each of these different personalities. And another thing that I learned from Zoe is to do thorough research. Zoe, for example, she really likes music, singers and musicians, but she doesn't just listen to their songs sometimes. She does research on their lives and on what inspired their songs, and she takes inspirations from them. It's like taking notes in class, but she takes notes on their life, and that's also a very important thing. It's important to self-educate yourself, and thorough research on many different subjects, especially subjects of interest, are a good way to achieve that. Another one is clarification. So sometimes we'll just tell someone to do something and maybe not see it through. Maybe we'll decide something and just say, well, I'll just do it when I feel like it. But Zoe likes to have things organized. Not long ago, well, today's a public holiday all over the world. Here it's Women's Day and all over the world, yeah. So,
But they don't have public holiday all over the world. They only have it here in the former Soviet.
well, yeah, that's true. It's a public holiday, so we don't have school today, and we also don't have music school, and that's what Mom said. But then Zoe was asking if she contacted the music teacher just to make sure that there was no music at all today, and she just wanted to check because it was important to her to get things clarified. And that leads into my next point. For me, music school was just something like a hobby. I wasn't ever that serious about it. But Zoe, she's really serious about the things she does. She's hardworking, and I think a better word for it is a Russian word, trudolюбие, because it literally means the love of work. And lots of us, we don't love to work. Lots of us struggle with laziness. And of course, Zoe must have had her struggles with laziness, but still, she is really serious about everything she does. She really does try to improve herself, whether it's drawing, writing, singing, music, or school. She really does her very best in each of these.
Before you continue, ask people who are watching us to take their time and copy and share the message if you don't mind. So if you are watching this with us, please take your time and go and share take the liberty, take the freedom to share this message. It could be a blessing to somebody else. So let's go and share the message, okay? We are listening right now to Pearl, what she thinks about her sister, what are the lessons she has learned from living with her. And then we are going to move over from there to Zoe to hear the life lessons, the 17 life lessons that she has learned in her first 17 years of life.
Okay, so another principle that I've learned from my sister is to ask questions. And before, Zoe and I, especially Zoe, would ask my brother and my mother lots of questions. And sometimes people would be like, people would get annoyed and be like, why are you asking so many questions? Why are you asking so many questions? But I think it's always important to be curious. And Albert Einstein said that curiosity is just intelligence having fun. And if people weren't curious, we wouldn't have discovered so many things that we know about the universe, about our world today, and even about God. We wouldn't have so many inventions that we use in our daily life. And I think that it's important to be always learning and always interested in learning, and not to just let all the opportunities to learn and educate yourself pass you by, but to always be using your mind and to be inquisitive. And even Daddy said before that if he's invited somewhere and people don't ask him questions within 5 minutes, he knows that place isn't worth it, that these people aren't serious. But Zoe, she always is thinking about something. She always has something on her mind, and she is really inquisitive. I think she'd be the type of person that would ask Daddy questions within 30 seconds because she knows how much of a wise person she is, and that's something you can really learn. That you shouldn't be afraid to ask questions. That's not a sign of weakness, and even if you think it's a sign of weakness, when you get the answer, isn't that weakness lost? And
how many points? You mentioned the number of points that you mentioned.
yes, I've mentioned 5.
Okay.
Another one is to be observant and to be attentive. Zoe is very observant and attentive, and this is seen in many things. Like, sometimes she'll bring up things from years ago that nobody seemed to. Like, we go every year to a New Year's service, and there's a building with light on it that makes it look like it's sleeping or something. And she mentioned how every year at New Year's, a few years back, the lights would be rearranged, so it would look like it was smiling. And I see, a few years ago, I was younger, I would have really liked that, but I never noticed that, but Zoe did. And for example, once she gave me some chocolates to give to the music teacher, and she said, tell her that there wasn't any coffee. And then the music teacher was really surprised because she was like, wow, I didn't expect her to get this. It was just a passing subject in the conversation. Like I wouldn't expect her to be so attentive to that. But she's attentive to people's needs. She's attentive to what people say, and that's really rare in this world right now. People just don't listen at all. They just think about themselves, about what they want. But Zoe is really observant and attentive, and that is actually an amazing quality of hers.
Attention to details.
Yeah. And
Number, what number?
okay, that was number 6. So the next one is to.
The next one is what number?
The next one is number 7.
Just number 7 is.
Okay, number 7 is to listen to understand. There's a quote that most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. And that happens all the time. Even if you're talking about the most trivial things, about your favorite football team or something, just sometimes people aren't listening to understand what the other person feels about. They're listening because they want to hurry up and express their own feeling. And in this world, we live on emotions so much. We just want to react on our emotions. We just, want to say, but I think. And, it's a statistic. I is the word that is used most in conversation. You shouldn't just react on emotions. Emotions aren't what lead you to the truth. You have to understand what is being said. You have to understand what is going on before you open your mouth. And Zoe really does that. And I don't really, but Zoe does. And at first, I didn't think it was a good quality of hers that she was quiet sometimes. I thought, she was missing opportunities to talk with people and stuff. That, why is she so quiet? There's people over here. She should talk to them. But, I don't really pay attention so much. I'm pretty careless. But Zoe, she really does. And she isn't all up in people's faces with her emotions. She's actually more understanding than that. She thinks about what they feel, about what's going on before opening her mouth. And I think you should be able to tell how much of a gem that quality is. And number 7 is empathy and selflessness. Well, I think these go. Number 8 is empathy and selflessness. I just can recall off the top of my head so many times that she listens and talks to me when I'm troubled. And it's not like a lecture or something, it's just her listening to me and just saying, well, maybe this is what you should do. And it doesn't really benefit her to listen to me ranting or being depressed or something, but she still talks to me and makes me feel better. And that's a really nice sister to have. And number 9 is that she's creative and not afraid to try new things. And I think the world needs more of those people. I think these are the people that make history in the world, people that aren't afraid to challenge the traditional things, people that aren't afraid to carve out new paths, and people that have a continual flow of ideas that can draw inspiration from many people, from many events. And Zoe is definitely one of those people. So yeah, She's really amazing. She's creative, and just from the time she was little, she's been singing a lot. She's been making lots of crafts. She's been coming up with new ideas and being interested in cooking, being interested in art, being interested in acting. She is just really creative, and she's not afraid to try new things or even explore new genres. And yeah, I think that's the creative power of a genius. And number 10 is that she accepts corrections and accepts correction. She has the correct reaction to correction. And one of the examples of that is sometimes after she's been punished, like by mom or something, she'll just say thank you. Like after a warning, she won't say like, no, I was actually this. She'd just say thank you, and then go. And I have a really big trouble with accepting correction. I get offended. I start making up excuses for myself. But Zoe, she tries to correct herself, and she isn't quick to judge others, even if so many people in this world are quick to judge each other, and even when people correct each other just because they want to feel high and mighty, Zoe is still respectful to everyone. And the problem, there's so many people in this world that they just can't accept correction. They have the wrong reactions. They keep pitting themselves, and that's a really big problem with the flesh and humans as a whole. But I think that Zoe is a lot better than that, and that makes her really wise and really mature, because it says in Proverbs, it says all over the Bible that the foolish person resents correction, but the wise man will accept it and become even wiser. So yeah, Zoe is going to become even wiser than she is now, and that's really great. So that was 10 points.
So what are your wishes? What would you like to tell Zoe on her birthday?
Well, I hope that all the potential and all the talent that God has put in her will continue to burst forth even more than it has been bursting forth already in the songs that she sings every day, in all the arts that she makes. I hope that it will just be able to be like a river of living water that spreads out and floods the whole world. But it's a saving flood. It's not a destroying flood, because we are the body of Christ. We are what God sent to redeem the world. And I think that God has really given Zoe all it takes to be a big piece in redeeming the world. So I hope that destiny comes true. I hope that everything that you sow will be reaped, and to numbers that even I cannot count. And I hope that all your dreams will come true, and that your dreams, whatever you decide to pursue, whatever you decide to study, they will be shaped and molded by God's will and by God's Spirit in you. And I think, Zoe, you're pretty good at this already, but I hope that God's Spirit in you will become so strong and so great that it will even surpass the flesh, and so that you will be able to be a great example to others, and just a shining light that will make every human on earth proud to be the same species as you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Zoe, can you move there to get that seat? But while Zoe is taking a place, let me use this opportunity to congratulate, to remember that today is international, to remind you that today is International Women's Day. So today is a celebration for all women. Since I cannot go or come to where you are and present you with a flower, I want to therefore use this opportunity for all the ladies in the house and for all women that are in DSA family. So I want to present this symbolic flower to you. I think this is Mayowa's flower. So yeah, this is Mayowa's flower. But since she is the one here on behalf of the DSA family, all of you are not here. I would have liked to present all of you with a single flower of your own like this. But just a symbolic gest of love, of attention, of care to every single lady out there who is part of our platform, who is part of DSA family. Just want to let you know that we care, I care, And I want to use this opportunity to talk to every girl, every woman. And I want to tell you that don't allow yourself to be defined by your sex. Don't allow anybody to define you by being a woman. Even though we are celebrating all of you today, we are celebrating women today, we are celebrating ladies today, girls today, but still don't define yourself by your sex. Don't define yourself by your gender. Define yourself by the image of God. Define yourself by the likeness of God. Define yourself by the personality of God that is in you. The Bible says that the kingdom of God is in you. Let that kingdom be the thing that defines you. Let the kingdom of God be the identity that defines who you are. Let the character, the characteristics of the kingdom of God be the thing, the future that most defines who you are. Not, your gender, not your sex, not any other thing that people look at, not your height, not the way you look at, not the way you look like, not, your size, not your weight, not anything like that. But let you be defined by your personality in Christ Jesus. So today, I want to speak to all the ladies that are watching me right now and that are part of the DSA family, that you are not worse than anybody. You are not worse than men. You are not worse than boys. You are not worse than millionaires. You are not worse than billionaires. You are not inferior to any human being. If you are a lady, you are even better because you are beautiful, because you are unique, because you are special. You are just extraordinary. You are just extraordinary. There is no one like you. So you are the only one in your own class. There is no one like you. There is nobody that compares to you. You are not worse than anybody. And don't be at the mercy of any human being. You don't have to be at the mercy of any man, even in your life. Don't put yourself at the mercy of even your husbands. Don't put yourself at the mercy of even your fathers. Don't put yourself at the mercy of your boss. Don't put yourself at the mercy of your children. Don't put yourself at the mercy of your job. Don't put yourself at the mercy of anybody. You are equally made like all of them. You are made to be as beautiful, as wonderful, as strong, as powerful as any other human being. Because the same God that is in men is the same God that is in you. The God is in you just like it's in every man. God is in you. His fullness is in you. The fullness of Christ is in you. Don't let anybody define you by either you are married or you are not married. Don't let any status be the definitive thing about you. Don't let marriage be your definition. Don't let any stigma stick to you. Don't let people define you by if you have children or you don't have children. Don't let the society define you. Call yourself who you want to be. Define yourself. Be the one that calls the shot about your own life. Decide your own joy. Decide your own destiny. Decide your own happiness. Decide what you feel. Decide how you look. Decide your mood. Don't let circumstances define your mood. Don't let situations define your mood. Be the one to call the shot on your mood. Be the one to tell what you will look like at any single time, how you will feel like at any particular time. Be the one to decide your joy. Be the one to decide your mood. Be the one to decide your happiness. Be the one to be in charge of your joy, of your own happiness. And it doesn't matter, even if you have the most wonderful husband in the world, still be in charge of your own life. Even if you have the most wonderful father in the world, still be in charge of your own life. You and God are the boss. You and God are the ones that control, that are in charge of everything that happens to you and that goes on in your own life. So even though people like us, like a mentor or a pastor or a father or a husband, that we will be there to give you support, to give you, just some additional joy, additional blessing, but we are only supplementary. No matter how good a father you have, no matter how good a husband you have, brother or son you have, we are all only supplementary. The most important factor of joy and happiness in your own life is you and your God. So don't ever you think that anybody's look should decide your mood, or anybody's comment, or anybody's compliment, or lack of it will decide what you feel like. Don't let anyone ever ever define you. You cannot be defined by anybody. You cannot be stamped by, you cannot be defined by anybody. Define yourself, define your identity, and decide what happens in your own life. So, but, because we're a family, and because I'm trying to be a gentleman, and to be caring, to be a caring man, so I give and I offer this jest and this symbolic flower to all the ladies. Either you are married, or you are single, or you are a girl, or you are a woman, or you are a mother, or you are a grandmother. Receive acceptance, receive congratulations, receive the celebration and the joy of this day from DSA and DSA family. And a happy Women's Day. Keep on being beautiful, keep on being wonderful, keep on being unique, keep on being special, keep on being confident, keep on being self-assuring, keep on being in the will of God, and keep on fulfilling the mandate of the Master upon your life here on the earth. Much blessings and grace to you. Happy Women's Day. Now we are going to go back to Zoe and her celebration. So I have double blessing and double celebration every 8th of March in the Embassy of God and in our family. That is, we have in the church, or in the whole world, the nation, we have 8th of March as the Ladies' Day or Women's Day. And then in our own family, we have Zoe's celebration of Zoe's birth. So today is Zoe's birthday, and here she comes, and we are going to give her the opportunity to express herself and her own, whatever she wants to share with us. She has to express to us the lessons that she has learned over the 17 years that she has been alive. So for the 17 years of Zoe's life, she will now share with us what she would like to teach us, or what she has learned about life. Here, Zoe, here you come. The world is welcoming you and celebrating you. How are you? How are you feeling today in your body?
I'm good.
Okay, tell us about it. How does it feel like to be 17? You know what? When I was 17, that was when I first of all began to think that I was really grown up at 17. So 17 was when I could actually begin to remember my life. And I began to really take life very seriously from the age of 17. So tell us what you are feeling right now, and what's happening to you, and what are the lessons you've learned from the past 17 years of your life.
Well, today I spent my birthday, Women's Day, with my family. And so far I feel pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But I feel that I've lived 16 years of milestone. Every year is a milestone in my life. Thinking of the future, what I can do, what time I have left, and just looking ahead, looking forward. So here are my 17 lessons. The first one is, there are certain parts of every person that won't change over time. And I call them the core values of who a person is. So every person is different. We're made of different things. And when we go through struggles, and when we go through really tense, pressuring situations, how we react, that's how we find out who we really are. And what stays when everything else is destroyed, when we put to the test. And some people, when they might be very stressed, may be very mean to people, but they keep on working to get out. While other people, when they're really in a bad place, even though they remain cynical in life, but they're always kind to others. And there are different things, there are different parts of everybody that
are the core values of who a person is that stays the same. So things about you may change, your situation may have changed, you may have grown and have risen and fallen, but what stays the same about you is who you really are. And I think you should focus on those and let them flourish and work on them, grow and use them, because they will bring you to the top, because those things about you will never change and they come to you more easily than they come to everybody else.
Those are the core values.
Core values.
But those core values have to be developed.
Yes, you have to work on them.
So that's your number one lesson, that the most in the life of everybody is his core value, and he has to work on them and develop them.
Yes.
So that's the most important thing, because anything could change about you. Your age will change, your figure will change, your look will change.
Your interest may change,
your
and your view on life may change. But those core values are the things that stay the same. You might realize that even ever since I was a little kid, I've always had this quality and this character trait, but you have to work on them. And they just come easiest to you. For you, it might be easier for you to forgive than this to other people. It might be easier for you to be giving and benevolent than for other people. But you have to work on them and make your life and your moral code, your life code, off of them.
Okay.
My second point is, it's easy to get lost, sometimes lost in confusion, or when you're in a really hard place, when you're going through a struggle. It's very easy to focus on yourself, but that's never an excuse to neglect others or to lash out on others. So we all go through struggles, very stressful struggles, and to us they're like the world. For example, for students, maybe they have a deadline that they have to get to, and for them, it's everything, right? And that's all they can focus on, and the world depends on it at that moment. And during that time, they feel like they're in a hurricane, and to everybody else, they can be very mean and cruel and lash out to everybody because they're only thinking about themselves at the moment. And that is not the way we're supposed to be. That is not the way we're supposed to live life. We're all humans, and even though emotions can be very strong and very powerful, we still have our heads, and they should be above. And we should always consider others before our feelings. If everybody lived just based on their emotions, it'd be a very horrible world. If you had a bad day, you shouldn't treat other people badly just because of your bad feelings. They didn't do anything wrong. You don't know where they're from. They might be having a worse day than you, but they might have offered you a helping hand, and you might have rejected it just because you were in a bad mood. It's very easy, and at the time might feel justifiable. I've had a bad mood. Why should I be nice to anybody else? But you never know what anybody else is going through. You don't know where they're coming from or where they're going to. Maybe they're going home and they're being abused. Maybe they just lost a job. Or maybe even they're having the best day ever, but that's never an excuse, no matter what you're feeling, to treat someone else inhumanely. You have to act humanely. You are a human, so treat others with respect.
So we shouldn't allow our pain and our emotions or feelings to define us. That's what you're trying to say?
Yes. And especially when you're interacting with other people, you should treat others with patience and respect. You shouldn't let your emotions be the cause of other people's troubles.
And those things happen. That temptation to treat other people unchristly and uncommonly or commonly happens especially when we are under pressure. So it is really when we're under pressure that we truly discover who we are. And that means that if we change to be worse and to be mean and evil when we are under pressure, it means that's who we really are. It means we had not worked on ourselves. We had not worked on becoming better and perfecting our character. So that's why when things are bad, we also treat people badly. And that's a challenge for a lot of people, because a lot of people actually allow their emotions and feelings to define how they behave, which that is what I normally call biomass. That people who behave like that are only biomasses. They are just animals. But more animalistic, because they are allowing instincts and reflexes to define who they are. And that is what animals do. That's animals who are supposed to be like that. But for humans, we are supposed to be Homo sapiens. And humans are supposed to rule over their emotions through their principles, their value systems, and their resolutions and their willpower. So the will is supposed to override emotions. Brilliant. Great thing you are talking about right now. Very great thing. Lesson. Okay, that's what's your second lesson?
Yes. The third lesson kind of ties in with the second lesson, is that some method of coping with being in a bad mood. When you feel too overcome and overwhelmed with your problems and your emotions and you're confused and you feel like you can't handle this on your own, you should go talk to someone and ask for help. Even if it seems like a small problem to them, you think it's not that important. If you're surrounded by people who care about you, that's what they want to do. They want to help you, just like you want to help those you love, because you love them and you care for them. You shouldn't hold everything inside and try to deal with things on your own. It's like you don't trust them, you don't appreciate them while you have them. And if you don't ask for help, you'll never get better. People who create great things, they take stuff that other people have researched and they make some of their own, of course, but they don't start from scratch. They look to others for information, look to others for help, and then they make something new off of what they already know. Everybody comes to a point where they feel lost and confused, and we need some guidance, because there's some things that we can't see sometimes. Sometimes it's hard for us to see the right thing to do, the right choice, because we're too blocked with all the negative, and it's hard to see the bright sides, hard to see the positive. And if we talk to other people, they say things that we could have never thought of on our own. We never could have come up with it, because they're different people, and it's from another person's point of view, and their head is more clear on the matter, whereas your head is more muddled and confused, and you're like in a storm of your own emotions and thoughts and feelings, and you're only going down. You have to look to another person who is like wiser than you, who has a more reasonable and more clear viewpoint.
But the problem in that, a lot of you, especially young people, what they do is that they actually go and consult with their friends and colleagues and peers instead of consulting more with their parents. And I think what you are trying to say is that we should find and look for the counsel of those who truly love us. Because what people do is that they follow the advice of people who just appear in their lives yesterday, or 1 year ago, or 2 years ago, or somebody who doesn't even live with them, who just sees them from the outward. And when you follow the advice of people who don't really know you, it means you actually betray yourself, because the people who care for you most, there is no way somebody who just came across your life a few days or weeks ago could love you more than your parents. Your parents that gave birth to you, or your people who have, not necessarily people who gave birth to you physically, but people who must be honored most in our lives are people who have paid the price to prove to us that we are valuable to them. So that is the mistake a lot of teenagers make when they follow their peers and the peer pressure. Their peers don't really care for the end result of their life. Peers only want to care about their comfort and about giving them the answer they need. But people who are your family, they are people who have proved to you all their lives that you matter to them, because they were there for you, they gave birth to you, they feed you, they dress you, they house you, they provide everything you needed for you to be who you are today. So you cannot say they don't love you, because that is the problem a lot of young people come to. They disregard the painful advices or wisdom of their relatives and their family, because they think that, because it's painful, it's not good for them. But really, and then they go and embrace the advice of friends who don't really care for who they are. So the lesson here is the people whose advice we must follow are those people who have proven to us beyond words that they love us. People who have been there for us when we were most in need. Those people who have paid the price of the relationship that we have with them. And that's why family is the closest thing and the most precious thing on the earth. And that's why, especially when ladies want to marry, they should not marry. And that's why, there are always situations when there are conflicts between parents and soon to be husband or wife. And some of the young people, they just follow after what their feelings. They say, no, he loves me. But he loves you only because he's satisfied with what he's saying. If you get sick tomorrow and you have cancer, that man is not the one that's going to be in the hospital with you. It's going to be your family. Because, a man just likes to receive what is good. And if if you are no more as good looking at what he saw, he's going to disappear and find another girl down the street. But the one that would never go and find another daughter is your parents and your family. So that's what you are saying. And, this is so deep that when we're in need and when we're in crisis, the advice and the counsel of who to look for should be the counsel of people who are closest to us. You right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to say anything more about that, or you want to?
It's very common for us when we need others the most. That's when we shut ourselves off the most, because we don't like, as humans, we don't like to ask for help. We like to be independent.
Because we're afraid of exposing ourselves.
Yeah, because we're vulnerable, and we have a sense of pride, and we want to be able to handle our own problems.
Okay.
But we have to be able to depend and trust on others. Because we can't do everything alone. There's some things that we can't do alone. We can't get very far alone. And it's human nature, like I said, for us, usually when people need us the most, that's when they push us away the most. And it's hard to see past that. And they may know exactly what to say to make you bad so that you won't come to them, so that you leave them alone. But you have to know that they're in pain. Behind anger, there's always pain. And let's cry for help. And we as humans, we're not very good at expressing when we need help and when we're vulnerable. So if you love yourself, take care of yourself, you have to know what's best for yourself. You have to know that you need help. And maybe if you spend enough time, you might come to a conclusion, but it won't be healthy, and it won't come in time. You'll be wasting your life trying to figure it out on your own. You have to come to someone who knows about the subject that you need help on, or come to someone who you think knows, and listen to them, hear them out, and maybe negotiate and talk about it. And sometimes just talking about things makes it better. Okay.
Is that the reason why your sister said you ask a lot of questions?
I ask questions because I'm curious, but she said that when she seems upset, I ask her questions, because why would I want to see her upset? So the third point is, if we have at least a little bit of passion or interest or affection or love towards something, if we have at least a little spark of interest, we should look into it and nurture it and find out more about it to see all that it has for us, all the options. So we should explore it in its entirety and then decide, is it worth investing in it, finding out about it, or no? Because if we don't look into something that we're slightly interested in, then that interest might die away over time since we've never paid attention to it. But if we, every day, for example, if you want to be an artist, like a drawer, if you go every day and look at beautiful arts that have been created, either beautiful paintings or hand-drawns or sculptures and models, you'll get inspired every day that you want to do better, you want to be better. And there can be communities that are dedicated to your interest, your point of focus, that can help you and encourage you, and that can teach you how to be better at whatever you want to do. But if you have to devote some of your time to look towards it, find out more about it, how it can be better, and to do something about it, to do something towards it. Or you can find out something that you think is cool, and you look into it, and then you find out, you know what, this isn't what I thought it was, so I don't think I actually like this as much as I thought I did. But if you don't look into it, interest is just like a seed, and you have to water it and nurture it and see where it brings you. And if you don't water the seed, then the seed dies. And it's a waste, because you could have found something new for all you know. Lost opportunity is a possible waste.
So life gives us, our interest that we have is like a seed that God gives us in life. And He expects to receive the fruits. The seed must become fruits if they are planted, if there is more interest, if they are cultivated, right? Beautiful, beautiful. Otherwise, we are being bad stewards. Mm-hmm. It's poor stewardship.
Okay, the fifth
point?
Yes, fifth point is that many people nowadays, or maybe if this is the beginning of time, we like to compare. I think it's in our human nature. Like to compare, oh, she, like in school, for example, we ask ourselves, what grades did you get? You know? Or like, we always think, oh, she has something that I don't have, or she's so better at me at this, but I'm better at her at that, so it's okay, la la la. And my point is appreciate what you have and make the most of what you have. For example, maybe your neighbor is like richer than you, or maybe she gets to go to dance classes and you want to be a dancer. But God has given you what you need to get to where you need to be. And if you want something, like I said in the previous point, you have to go and look into it and pursue it. So you'll never have exactly what you need if you want to be an artist again, like I said. You'll never have the exact supplies that an artist have, professional pens and professional paintings, but you have to make do with what you have, and then it'll go on from there. If you make do with what you have, then you'll start somewhere. You can't just use professional instruments to make. No matter what instruments you use, you'll still be the same skill level that you are. A person who draws outside can draw better with like some dull pencil than a beginner who hasn't practiced at all with the most expensive of materials. And if you really want it, you have to start, and then it gets better. You have to suck in order to improve. So you have to get all that you can, all the resources that you've been provided, and do something. And maybe it won't be the best that has ever been done at first try, but it will get better. You have to start. And stop comparing but I can't do as good as her because she's been practicing 10 years earlier than me. But you have to start, because something is better than nothing. And for something becomes something more. So, okay.
Beautiful, beautiful.
My 6th point.
Okay.
It's very important to be honest to yourself. It's important to be honest in general, but it's very important to be honest to yourself. And because if you're ever alone in life, you'll never get to escape from yourself. You can be your best friend or your worst enemy. You can bring yourself up, bring yourself down. You know a lot about yourself that others may not know because you might not say anything to other people. You shouldn't deny things to yourself. You should be honest with yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, then you'll come to a higher level. Because if you're denying something, you're suppressing something. And you're making it harder for yourself because there's like a war inside you of what the truth is and what you're telling yourself. And then you start to contradict yourself. And that's not healthy, and that's not right, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. And if you're honest with yourself, then don't be dishonest with others. Don't try to portray yourself the way you want to be or the way you wish you were born. If you're honest with yourself, then you portray yourself to others the way you really are. Don't portray yourself, you think, oh, I think they like me better if I did this or if I did that. They should accept you for who you are, so accept yourself as who you are. Which is my next point, number 7. Accept yourself for who you are. You should be proud of who you are. You are born one of a kind. There is no one else like you. And that's why we say that you should make the most of your existence here on earth. Follow your purpose and do something because nobody else will be able to do it. At least not like you. So accept yourself, embrace yourself fully. Take your flaws and your strengths and weaknesses. Work on your flaws, work on your weaknesses, work on your strengths. Become better, but you won't change. And no matter if you don't like yourself, and if you deny things about yourself, that'll make your life worse because you won't escape yourself. No matter how many layers of makeup you put or how many different accents you learn to act differently around different people, when you come home, you'll still be the same person. So it's better and safer and healthier to just love yourself and accept yourself, and you're going to need it because there may be times when nobody believes in you and you might be filled with public hate, for example, and the only thing that will keep you standing is your love, your respect for yourself, because you know how much you're worth and you know what an incredible creature you are that they might not know.
Beautiful, beautiful.
My 7th point.
8. I think it's 8 now, no?
7th.
Okay.
My 7th point is find out your strengths and your weaknesses. Many people commonly say, You work on your weaknesses, but you also have to work on your strengths, because that's what's going to get you through. And no matter how many times, how long you work on your weaknesses, they'll still be your weaknesses. They won't turn into your strengths, because you have natural strengths and natural weaknesses. Find out who you are. Find out what category you're in. If you find out that you're an introvert, you won't spend your life being an extrovert, and you'll understand why some things are harder for you and easier for others. It's easier for you to understand, and it's easier for you to operate, and then it will be easier for you to plan what things to do and how to do things, and you'll understand how to operate in different places and how to plan your life. Let's say, for example, as an extrovert, and her strong point is communication. So if there's a team, then she would be presenting it, because she'll work with people and connect with people. But if the team decides that this introvert should be the leader, whose strong point is strategy, she might not do as well as a good job than the other person, because she may get tired easily from other people, and she might not be good with connecting with people in a public level, and she might have been better as a planning than actually delivering. Different people have different weaknesses and strengths. So when you find out about yours, work on them and use them, because like I said, that's what's going to get you through. And it'll be easier for you to accept who you are and love yourself for who you are. Because if you don't know your strengths and weaknesses, you might be comparing yourself to another person. Like if I said, if the introvert is an extrovert, if the introvert compares herself to the extrovert, she'll be like, oh, she's so outgoing, why can't I be like that? But that's because you're not like that. And the extrovert may be like, oh, she's so good at planning, why can't I be like that? Because you two are different and you have your own strengths and you're both equal. You might not be as good at the same things, but you are both just as good. Maybe in a society where extroverts are more successful because there's more sales, you may feel like you're less important, but you're not, because you have the exact same value. Okay, my 8th point is there's so much in the world. There's a whole world out there. And we've all been raised differently. We've been raised in different families, different societies, different environments. But there comes a time we have to grow up and look outside of what you know, outside of your box, outside of your environment. You have to look to what other people think, different opinions, different views of the world, the people from different backstories and why they view the world in different ways. You have to look at different topics, find out things you didn't know existed before. You can't live your whole life just in your environment, a little hole. You can't just live your whole life believing that that's bad because that's what they told me, without looking at from their point of view. You can't just follow the same opinions that other people have around you without finding out why that opinion either exists. And then you have to take a stand to see, do I really agree or believe with what I've been told, or am I just believing it because that's what they told me? You have to look and make decisions for yourself, and that helps you to become who you are. I think it's a very important part of who you are, part of deciding who you are, being comfortable with who you are. My 9th point is kind of ties in with one of my early points about if you're having a bad day, you shouldn't let it out on other people. If you are having a good day or a normal day, you should always treat other people with love, respect, and kindness. Because like I said, you don't know what they've been going through. And sometimes just a little bit, the slightest action can be what they need. It can put them in a good day for the rest of the day, put them in a good mood. It can save them from making a really big mistake because at least one person was kind. It can restore their hope in the world. For example, one time I was at school and I had to run the snack bar, and my partner was sick at school, so I had to do it alone. And it was very stressful because it was my first time. And then my classmate saw that I was alone and he offered to help me. And that helped me a lot, and that put me in a good mood and made me appreciate him a lot more. So we should help out whenever we can. We should put others first. Give up a little bit of your time if you can. Help someone who's new at school, help them to get acquainted, let them know that you're there for them if they ever need anything or are confused about anything, because we need each other. We have to coexist. And we shouldn't coexist with fear and hate, but with love and kindness. because that's how we let God's light shine through us. That's letting God's light shine. Okay, next one. 10th one. We shouldn't refuse anybody any help just for the sake of not looking bad in front of others. For example, if you have a friend who is being bullied, and you're scared to help them because you don't want to put yourself in that position. Maybe he'll bully me too, for example. For example, I have a friend, and she was not in my class, in a grade above me. She was the new person in school, and all the girls in her class were being mean to her and ignoring her and bullying her, except one girl. And when she was around her class, the one girl, she would bully her as well. But whenever they were alone, she would be kind to her and nice to her. And that sent my friend very mixed signals. Until eventually, she told her class that they should stop and be nice to this girl and accept her. And if they, bully her, then she'll stand up for her and defend her. So we shouldn't be ashamed or embarrassed to help other people who are in need. Because I couldn't allow someone else to suffer just because I'm embarrassed or just because I'm afraid that I might be put in the same position as them. Especially if I can't help and if I'm right there with them. Just like watching someone commit a sin is the same as committing a sin. So if you can help, do help, and don't put your life over theirs because you're both equal. Okay.
Beautiful, because a lot of people just want to save their skin. A lot of people just want to save themselves. A lot of people want to get out of trouble. And a lot of people don't want to contaminate themselves because of other people's challenges. So this is really Christ-like, what you just said now, because when I'm willing to go through pain and losses just because I want to help other people, that is what Jesus meant when he said, this is how you know if you have love for each other, your ability to be able to suffer when you are trying to help others. That is real life. He said, whoever gives his life for the brethren is the one that has really proven love. So real love is the ability to sacrifice yourself for others. Beautiful.
So my 11th point is whatever struggles you're going through, keep moving forward and keep living and keep pushing on and keep trying your best. As long as you make it through the day and you haven't given up, then that's enough. If it's very tough and it's very hard and it's new and you don't know what to do, keep moving forward even though you can't see what's ahead of you. If you can't see the point and you feel hope is lost, the hardest times, just keep moving forward, and you should be proud of yourself to keep moving forward every day. Because life is full of ups and downs. You won't be in the down forever. It might seem like a very long time. But if you work on yourself and you work to get help and you talk to other people, you won't stay down low forever. And over time, years later, you'll look back and you'll see how much you've gone, how far you've come from that dark moment. And if it's a recurring thing, then you'll see how every time the dark moment comes, you deal with it in a different way and in a better way, and how you've learned, how you've matured, and what you took from that dark moment and how you've grown. So if you just keep walking forward, you'll eventually change locations and get to a different place. You'll get out of that place. You have to keep moving forward, keep going forward, and you'll get out of there. And you'll learn, you'll be stronger, you'll be better, your eyes will be opened, and you'll know how to help others who are in the dark place. My 12th point. If you've been through a hard time and you see other people who aren't necessarily showing that they're in pain, but there's a very high chance that they are, at least check up on them, see how they're doing, because they might seem fine, like they might show no signs of being in trouble, they might smile all day and have the perfect, most convincing smile, and you never know what goes on at home. But you have to go, you don't have to, but my life lesson is just go and check up and see if they're okay. If something really bad has recently happened and they're showing no signs of being in trouble, or if you've been in their situation, for example, if it's something small, Like, so this girl trips, for example, and everybody laughs at her, and this girl who's tripped just like laughs along with them, and presents it like it's no big deal. Check up on the person, because it's very easy to laugh along with everybody else, just so that you won't seem embarrassed or you won't seem like you're weak or something. There are little things every day that we do to hurt each other that we don't even notice. And we shouldn't pretend like the feelings don't exist, like we don't hurt each other's feelings. So look after one another, and you'll be very helpful and effective to them. 12th point. You shouldn't live your life aimlessly. Every day, every week, every month, you should make plans, make goals, and go after them. You should plan your month, plan your year, and strategically try to fulfill. Make some points that you want to reach and reach them. You should work on how to reach them and know why you're doing this and how are you going to reach it, and then fulfill it, make it happen. You should live your whole life like that. You shouldn't live your life aimlessly, just going along with the flow. And it might seem easy to go with the flow and hard to plan some things, but that is how you take your life into control. That's how you take your life into your hands. And this might help you avoid some existential crisis. But you have to be aware that things don't always go to plan, and unexpected happens all the time. And sometimes your plan B's, plan C's don't work. But it would have been worse if you had no plan at all. So set a goal and a plan and go after it. Like every day. The goal that you should try to reach every day, the go after every day, is your purpose. Which is my next point, 13th point, is to find out your purpose. Find out what you like, what you're made for, what God made you for, what you're willing to give out to put your whole life into. That interest that you looked into and decided that you're going to devote your whole life to it. Work on it. And that you have in it. Why are you in school? For this purpose. And everything that you go through in life, how can it help with this purpose? And then you work your whole life towards this purpose. And that's something that you should reach every day, at least in one day. Like my father says, if you lived a day and you didn't do anything to help with your purpose, then you wasted a whole day. And to other people, but look, you've done so much. Like, you have a job, you help your family, you help your friends, but if you didn't do anything for yourself, for your purpose, then you wasted a day on other people, but not on yourself. So to have purpose and go after it. 13th point is work on relationships. For me, it's like a really tiresome thing to do, to set time apart for people and to spend time with them, because I'd much rather spend time alone in my room than I actually do. But we're, like I said, meant to coexist. You have to set time for other people, devote time to them, talk to things about them, develop trust between each other, like find out things about each other, because when the hard times come, you might have to come to them, or they may bail you out when you don't even expect them to. Because the more time you invest in a relationship, and the more talks you have about more serious things, more personal, vulnerable things, the more open you are with each other, the stronger the relationships are, and the more unlikely they are to break, no matter what happens. Like, you might move away, and she might move away, and you might maybe never talk to each other again, but your time with them and your relationship with them was not wasted. You know that you have a place in their heart, and they have a place in yours. So work on relationships. They're really helpful, and you know that if the whole world comes against you, they will be there for you. My brother's really good at keeping in touch with people who have gone away, and I'm not good at that. But and there's some people that I know that will stick with me throughout all the time, and who will bail me out, who have bailed me out in really hard times when I was scared to go through things alone, when I was scared to talk to people about some people about some subjects. I could talk to them, and they wouldn't judge me. So relationships are really important and really helpful. It changes your whole life and how you go through some certain situations.
Beautiful. Before you go to the next point, I just want to talk to all the people who are here. If you have not yet shared the link yet, you have not yet shared this program, please go ahead and share the program. Be free to share the program. Go and look for the share button under this video. It might be, there's a lot of lessons that we're hearing from Zoe today. Frankly speaking, they are lessons to me myself. I myself am learning a lot of things just listening to Zoe today. These are real life lessons, and these things are not what she got from a book or from somewhere. These are our own life lessons, and I think they are wonderful revelation and wonderful understanding, not just for her, but for all of us too. And thinking that this is a young girl of 17 that is coming up with these deep thoughts and deep truth is even much more inspiring. I think everybody in the world might have one or two things to learn from some of these things that Zoe is saying today. So please go ahead and share the link. Be free to do that as we continue to keep on some of the other lessons that Zoe has. What number are you now?
13.
Okay. Have you finished 13 or you are starting 13?
I'm starting 13.
Okay.
Let little things inspire you. Like, there are inspirations every day, all the time, all around you. And if you, like, I don't know what it is about me, but recently, it hasn't been very hard for me to find inspirations. For example, in my classmates, everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. But seeing people my age inspires me the most. Seeing them do simple tasks. Like, for example, when they help people they don't have to help. Or when they are really focused on their homework, on their schoolwork. It helps me, like, I'm not alone in this, and that I can also do my best, and if I need help, I can come to them. For example, if I need help on some certain parts of something, I know I can go to that person because I know that they're really passionate about this, and I can go to that person because they're really passionate about that. And that's also the beauty of having people around you, people who you can have relationships with, people who can help you, people who are your peers.
Well, that is also because you are observant. It means you are learning by observance. You are observing people around you. You are studying from what you see. You are allowing yourself to learn, and that's a great quality right there.
Yeah. So that point was let little things inspire you. Like, don't necessarily look for big things. I mean, big things can be inspiring, right? But it can also be depressing. Like, oh, that's so big, I could never achieve something as great as that, you know? Like that, oh, a celebrity, she must have lots of money to donate that much money to charity. Or look, that child was a genius, I'm not a genius, how could I possibly do that? But like, if it's like someone your age or a classmate, then if they can do it, then I can do it. I feel like it's easier to get inspired by people, by your peers. And that was my 13th. My 14th is...
My 14th what?
A 14th point. My 14th point is that this should be like the most important point of all. It's not necessarily like this isn't based on order. But no matter what you're going through, don't stop talking to God, because He is your life source, and He sustains you, and He knows you better than anybody else. And like I said, during hard times, you feel many different emotions, and you want to shut everybody off and push away the people who you need the most. There's a tendency for Christians and believers to avoid God when they feel they're too unworthy, and when they feel like, I'll come back to you when I'm holy, and when I feel that I am worthy of your presence. There's a tendency among Christians to do that. But the Bible does say that you become holy through me, and through my grace, I'll change you for the better. We can't do it without Him. That's the whole thing. I have been set free. The truth has set me free from the bondage of sin. So now I have the ability to change to be a good and holy. But you can only change with the grace of God, with God's help. You can't, for example, if you need help with math, right? You have to get a tutor to get better. You can't get better by yourself. I mean, you can, but it'll take a very, very long time and so much effort and so many wrong attempts. But you have to come to Him to get better. And you come to God to get better. God is holy, but He's making you holy. You don't make yourself holy. You don't ask questions like, why does God love me? How am I worthy of his love and forgiveness? But that is God. God is God. God is love. God is forgiving. And he is ready with open arms to take you as you are and make you better. And that's like one reason people may stop talking to God. Sometimes people just don't have time, or they're like, oh, I had a really hard day, I just want to go straight to bed. Or like, oh, I'm running late to work, I can't talk to you this morning. But you always have to put God as a priority. And he is number one priority. If everything else is lost, he will still have to be a priority. He will still be there. Look to him, and your whole life should be for him. He should be the center of your life. He should be the number one priority in your life. If you don't talk to him, then you'll fall so much. You'll fall in your spiritually you'll fall. And with your God, spending time with God fills you with love and joy and fills you with life. And those aspects of you will fall. And they'll be replaced with materialistic things. The stuff you replace God with. Like videos on the internet, or playing games, or people, and just all the worldly pleasures. But that is nothing compared to God. And then if you spend less time with God, you start to forget how it's like, and you don't want to do it anymore. Because you're like, oh, God's so holy, and I don't know what to do. But you come to God, and he gives you something that nothing else can give you, no one else can give you, that you can't get anywhere else. So keep talking to God. And it doesn't have to be like a whole deep spiritual talk. Just talk to him about anything and everything. And the more you talk to him, every time you talk to him will be good. And the more you talk to him, the more you develop your relationship, the closer you'll get to him, and the better you'll be. So if you haven't talked to him in a long time, just start with something simple. Like, hello, like, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you, but today I had a good day, this happened, that happened. I wonder how you think about that. I'm sorry for this, and I wonder how to change that part about me. Just talk to him. Just like say the word. Like the sinner on the cross, he said, let me be with you. Or no, he's like, I'm sorry. Or he just said a few words to Jesus. Just talk to him. And the woman, the woman who was like sick, she didn't even say anything. She just touched him because she had faith. But just communicate with him, connect with him. And sometimes you might not feel like talking. Then I encourage you to express yourself to him in different ways. When people express themselves to God through dancing, others through singing, others through drawing, others through poetry, others people write letters to him, but communicate with him and talk with him. You can just spend time with nature and appreciate his works. Okay, that was my 15th point. 15th. So my 16th point is appreciate the people around you while you have them. Because like where you are now, you didn't get here by yourself. Your parents raised you, you had friends who brought you to this place, and all these educators and people who provide you food. Be thankful for everybody in your life. Because I had a talk with my friend a few days ago, and I was like, sometimes I wish that I would know the people in my life who would stay and people who would go, so that I wouldn't like waste some time with people who would only stay in my life for a short amount of time. But then she said, but that doesn't work, because sometimes just a random person says some random thing that gets you to the day. So everybody is important. Everybody is of value, even if they might not stay in your life for a very long time. Because that's just a struggle that many people in my school have, since it's a missionary school. People come and go, stay for a year and they go. And it's really, sometimes it gets hard to like open up to people again. But appreciate everybody who comes and goes. And you may be a passing person in someone else's life. So while you're still here, while they're still here, make the most of it. Get to know them. Be encouraging. Let God's light shine, so that if they go, they'll remember you, remember God's light in you. And don't neglect people just because they won't stay for as long as you'd like them to. Even if they stay for a month or a day, make the most of what you have. And try to form a relationship with them. Maybe you can talk over the internet. And my 17th point. The most important thing in life is God. in our human life, because after that there's heaven and everything. And I always said for a very long time, my favorite activity to do is just to spend time with God, to talk with God, because He is better than anything else on this planet, better than anything else in this world. And if you identify yourself in Christ, and all these worldly insults won't matter that much to you. For example, if an insult to be a virgin at a certain age, it won't matter to you, because you know that these people are basing their standards on worldly pleasures and worldly stuff. Like, you have sense, you have a reason for doing what you do, for your principles. It's a higher level. But all people on earth, everything that they base what's important is on value, physical value. And you know that all this stuff is going to fade away. Money, jewelry, clothes, fashion. Like, every week, every month is a new trend, and there's new news. But you focus on what matters. So invest the majority of everything that you have in God. Those are my 17 points.
Okay. Thank you so very, very much, Zoe. Deep things you are telling us today. Very, very deep things. I really hope that everybody listening to this will go over these teachings again. And we all need to listen over and over again to these classes, to these lessons. These things are very, very deep things that Zoe has been speaking about. Wow. Amazing. So you are going to finish high school next year?
Yes.
And what are you thinking about your future? I'm sure you are getting ready for your future, but what do you see yourself doing after college, after university, for your life? What, you are 17 now. It's about high time to begin to seriously consider how you want to be a blessing to your generation. I know you've said it several times. Many times I've asked you all the time, you always say it, but it's good to hear it again today that is your birthday, because you have to begin to prepare yourself concretely for those things, and begin actually not just to prepare, but to begin to practice them. So how do you see your life moving forward?
Well, after university, even while I'm there, I want to start like singing, releasing music, and I want to write books and stories to inspire people and share my thoughts with the world and share God's messages through music and writing. And if I can, I'd like to try being an actress as well.
What about your psychology?
Psychology, yes.
How is that going to
Psychology is less of a priority for me.
Okay.
It's more of a safety net, like a backdrop, something.
Like a method to use your gifts.
Yes. But I will be using it. I don't think I'll try to make any money out of it. Maybe I'll use it in my stories or in my musings or in my songs.
And in understanding people.
Yes,
Relationship with people.
I like to understand both points of view, understand how one person might have offended the other person, why they react in that way, and why some people just refuse to see the other person's points of view. I like to understand people so I can create peace between people and avoid unnecessary fights. But that's just personally in my life.
But your focus is going to be on
Humanity in general, like people, how they think and why they react, and how things in the past affect their present.
No, I'm saying apart from psychology.
Oh, then singing, acting, writing.
Okay, and what about this last year in college?
School?
In school, sorry.
What about it?
Yeah, how do you plan to, finish up, and what do you want to do immediately after that, and the years before college and immediately afterwards in college?
I'm pretty sure after high school, I plan to go to college. And then in college, after I've settled in, I plan to start living independently and see what I can do, how much I can handle with schoolwork. But I'd like to release some writings. I think that would be the easiest to do, though it does take some time.
What about, the last year?
In high school?
In high school now, you remember for others,
Paris?
it was really very intense and very busy for him. How are you making the adjustment for your graduation?
Well, for further, is it about the exams?
Yeah, everything.
Well, right now, this year, I've also taken exams to prepare. I take exams so I can get an early start on those. And for I'm planning to get good grades, obviously. I'm planning to get on the National Honor Society. And to help
National what?
Honor Society.
Okay.
And to help the school, because seniors have a power. Seniors and juniors have a power, but seniors have a greater power than juniors to affect the school in different ways. I'll try to join the student council.
To help your school, huh? And that will not stand on your way of your exams and
No.
Okay. Any other thing you'd like to tell people? People are greeting you. You have to read these things later on. Talking to you and wishing you happy birthday. And so, anything you'd like to say before you go?
I'd like to say that today is Women's Day, but whoever you are, you should be proud of who you are and not be ashamed of who you are, no matter what society tells you, no matter where you may be growing up. And you should love yourself and hold yourself important, no matter where you may be or what you might have heard every day or sometimes. But you are loved, and you're always loved, and you do have value, priceless value, and you're of priceless worth.
So, what's your lesson you've learned from? I think I hope my last question. What are your conclusions with what has happened to your brother in the last 1 year or 2 years after he finished school, and now that he has gone? So, what are the changes that have happened to him, and how he has gone through the transition between, being a houseboy or a schoolboy to living alone, to living in another country, in college. So how has that whole experience, how are you learning from all that?
Well, to him, ask him questions, how is it like? And he tells me the differences and the complications. And I just know what kind of mentality to go into. If I'm going to leave the country, I'm going to be on my own, and more independence, more self-dependence. And I realize it's going to be kind of hard to find new friends, find new people to rely on. But I'm learning about what to prepare for, how to do your own laundry, cooking your own food, or getting a job, and paying for some things. All the things that Paris has to go through, I'm learning, preparing myself for them.
Okay, you having classes tomorrow? You have school tomorrow?
Yeah.
So you need to go now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You want to say anything? You learning some things?
Lot.
A lot. Will you come? Or you can go if you want. Let's hear what Amayowa is learning from you. It's like she's been sitting here. We have some other people sitting here, but they are not English speakers. They are Russian speakers. Everybody is sitting here. So let's hear what Maya has to say because she speaks English. So,
Hello. I think everything really that Zoe has said has been a lesson for me, not just one. But one thing that I hold very dear is I think it was the second to the last, so the 16th lesson, that no matter what you are going through, don't stop talking to God. And I think for me, that's one of the greatest lesson, because at times it is quite difficult to talk to God and feel like you're a child of God, especially if you're not doing something right, or you feel like you're not happy with the way life is going and the way that you understand yourself, or the way that you understand the world around you. So it's quite difficult for me personally. I always stay away from God, or even blame God for what is happening. And just learning from her that no matter what, to always get close to God, and just don't abandon God. And the illustration that she gave, which is if you have a challenge with maths, for example, you can learn maths on your own and try to figure it out, but you're better off trying to find a maths tutor. And that really resonates with me, because it's actually very simple, but I've never really thought about it. And hearing it from a 17-year-old and actually opening my mind like a light bulb this evening, it's been really great. Not to stay away from God, to always be in God's company and get close to God, and that will help me to accelerate whatever that I am doing, or to even have a relationship with God, because it's not something that I actually think that I should do. And today is something that from now on I feel like I can practice, simply because of the example that she gave, because it makes so much sense to me. Another one that I do like is appreciate the people around you when you have them around. That really, for me, it's really deep as well, because sometimes you feel like I would appreciate somebody later, or I would do this with this person later on, but you don't even know if they're going to stick around later on or be available. And also other things and other people will come into your life, and you don't appreciate those you're supposed to appreciate. So that's another key thing for me, where I always leave things like appreciation for later, that I would do this later. I would make sure that I show this person this. I have so much planned for so many people that a lot of the plans now I've actually forgotten. I don't even remember. But if I appreciate people as I go along and let them know how I feel, I think that is actually a good lesson, and it's a good way to practice love and a lot of the things that she's mentioned. The other thing is to plan your life. That I hear it all the time, but the way that Zoe has put it, to plan your life, even if that plan doesn't work, but it's better for you to plan it rather than not plan it at all and it doesn't work. So to always plan your life and do something towards your purpose every day. I've heard this before, and I've heard it from DSA so many times, to actually do something towards your purpose on a daily basis. But for some reason, hearing it from Zoe has a different meaning for me. She mentioned having different. What resonates is that even if that plan doesn't work, it is actually better to have a plan than not to have any plan at all. So that I'm going to also put in practice, and the doing something towards your purpose, I'm actually going to do that on a daily basis. So she mentioned that if you don't do something towards your purpose, then you have a wasted day. And I try to think that I'm working towards my purpose, but on a daily basis, I don't actually do something towards my purpose. So doing something tangible on a daily basis is key, it's important, and I appreciate hearing that from her. Also working on relationship with others and to connect with other people, and that working on relationship with others, I really sometimes can't be bothered. And I mean, I don't know why it's all so important to me, because maybe it's coming from a younger person, and to hear it from her talking about relationship with others, I sometimes think I choose the people that I have relationship with, but hearing how, you know, everybody is of value, and even though you do different things or you have different value, you have different strengths, it's no reason why you shouldn't work in relationship with people, because sometimes we always think that we should just hang around with people that are like us, but not get to know other people or try to understand other people. So she also connected that to trying to understand other people. So it's important to work on relationship with others. Another thing that I love about what she said is that there's a whole world out there, a whole world of culture that is open to you. I think maybe my eyes just started opening to that, you know, being here in Ukraine. Even though I know that in terms of theory, but in practice, I don't practice it to know that, to work in the way or take actions, that there's a whole world out there. You know, I'm in my own little world with a group of people that I know, and there's so many methods nowadays that you can actually express that. So to actually go and live and mingle with other people, not just the people in your community, but people in other communities as well, and try to learn from them, you know, to actually think consciously that there's a whole world out there. That is something huge for me, because I think about my own world, where I am. I'm in my own head, not, you know, around, even though if I'm around people, I don't really see it as being in the whole world. I just see it as being in my own little box. So to hear it again, saying that there's a whole world out there, so be open to the world, it's really important.
Okay, just generally, not going to the
No,
class,
I'm not going through. I'm just
impressions.
saying the ones that I
I'm just
enjoy.
asking now. So
Yeah.
after you mention all the things that I've touched you, what are the general impression now before I finish?
Okay, my general impression is that Zoe taught me now today that we really need to start everything early. We need to start to learn all these things and cultivate all these habits very early. And the evidence, as you can see in both Zoe and Pearl, you know, I am probably twice their age, and to just be learning this, although I'm grateful that I'm learning it and I'm going to try and accelerate my learning, but generally I've seen the value of being in an environment or teaching your children very early and helping them to get closer to God and also identify who they are. You know, they're strong ladies, they know who they are and they know where they're going, and they understand the reasons as well why they're doing it. So that's really important, that to see them and see how young they are, and then also to see that they understand everything they're doing. They're not just doing it because their parents tell them to do it or because their parents are doing it. They're doing what they're doing, and they believe in what they believe in because they're living
Consciously.
Yeah, consciously, not living by what they see in the world, but what they know and what is inside of them. They build from the inside out. So, which is a really great thing to see. And every time I see them speaking, I'm just grateful that I don't have children yet. I know how to go. If I do have one, then I wouldn't have already made the mistake or not actually build up children that can be proud of. So I'm really grateful for being here and being able to see them and hear them and actually see that they live what they say. That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you so very much. Again, I want to use this opportunity to talk to the ladies and say, Not just happy birthday to Zoe, but happy Women's Day to all the ladies, DSC family. And don't forget, my book is out this week. Between Monday and Saturday, you can get your own copy. Stop Working for Uncle Sam. If you don't get it before Saturday, then because you'll be hearing reports of how much blessing that book is, and then you have to go and buy it for $20. But right now, you could get it for $4, $4.99. That's $5 on Kindle. So make sure you get your book before Saturday. Otherwise, don't blame me, because the things in that book, you'll be looking for the book sooner or later. You'll be rushing and you'll be looking, you'll be begging to find that book, because the stuff that is in that book is going to be one of the most important books that have ever been written. You could get it at a discount now before Saturday, or you have to go get it after Saturday, when the price is going to be $20 in paperback. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Again, happy Women's Day and happy birthday to Zoe. And thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on today. I hope you will do something with the lesson that you learned from Zoe and brought today. God bless you, everyone.